Hello and welcome. My name is Meepolis, she, they, and this is literally graphic. And today I'm taking a quick look back at the first 3 volumes of JEM and the Holograms. Content notes for mental health struggles and mind control. As someone who didn't watch JEM and the Holograms and fell pretty far afield of the intended audience, as it were, I did enjoy it back in 2017 when I originally read and reviewed the first couple of volumes, and after re-reviewing The Abandoned, I really wanted to see more Sophie Campbell art. That said, this was anything but a solo project, so here come some bios of everyone else. First up, we have writer Kelly Thompson, quote, has a degree in sequential art from the Savannah College of Art and Design. Her love of comics and superheroes have compelled her since she first discovered them as a teenager, currently living in Portland, Oregon with her boyfriend and the 2 brilliant cats that run their lives. You can find Kelly all over the internet, where she is generally well liked, except for where she's detested. End quote. Although story credit goes to both Thompson and Campbell. Colors were by M. Victoria Robato, who self-describes as, quote, Victoria's work explores themes of space and magic, sprinkled with neon colors for in-your-face look, featuring strong and fashionable women. She also writes and draws online comics, her most recent work being #blessed for webtoons. End quote. Volume 2 was more a collection of single issues, all written by Kelly Thompson, still I believe, but with a number of other artists. Let's do a quick rundown. We have to credit Emma Vasili, Corin Howell, Amy Meberson, Ariel Jovellano, Rebecca Isaacs, Jen Bartel, Agnes Garbowska, and Lauren Perry. Lettering throughout is credited to Sean Lee, Tom B. Long, and Robbie Robbins. What kinds of keywords came to mind? Girl band, rivalry, popularity, hair, love, holograms, and artificial intelligence. The synopsis is as follows. Part 1, quote, she and her sisters team up to become JEM and the Holograms. But what does it mean to be JEM today? Fashion, art, action, and style collide in JEM and the Holograms Showtime. Part 2, quote, Jerrica and her sisters face their biggest threat yet, success. Meanwhile, the Misfits aren't taking these upstarts lying down as they find themselves under new management. Plus, go beyond the scene and see the Holograms and the Misfits from a whole new perspective, that of music columnist Rio Pacheco. And part 3, quote, something is wrong with synergy. As JEM and the Holograms' first tour begins, something or someone called SILICA is after them, but who or what is she? Meanwhile, the Misfits need to replace their lead singer fast, and maybe even permanently. Relationships felt like one of the major themes of these 3 volumes of the series. Not only the relationships between band members, but also the band, romantic, and between famous people and fans. While I didn't think the writing was bad, the story itself felt like one of the weaker points of the experience for me. But the fact that I've become even less of the target audience since initially reading this book, I'm not surprised. That said, it was a very nice change from all the serious books I was reading before this. Looking through Thompson's other titles, I do really want to try out her Jessica Jones titles. So I shall report back on that when I can fit them in. The word-related part I thought was the most fun was the musical typography. I really love creative typography, and this fit into the page so well. The art, on the other hand, was the real highlight to me, and the biggest reason I circled back to reread these volumes. The character designs were all very fun and creative, things are very diverse, and people come in many different kinds of stylized, but still not unrealistic proportions. It's also such a colorful and fun title. I don't do makeup myself, but lots of nice stuff that you don't see in many comics. At least in my experience, certainly tell me if you are reading more stuff like this visually. As far as gender goes, reading most of the characters as women, there is a sprinkling of men. The men are all pretty nice boyfriends. Will Rio ever find out that JEM and Jerrica are the same person? We also get some very positive trans woman representation, trans women are women. Sexuality does lean a bit towards the heterosexual, but we do get a very pivotal, if a bit chaotic, cross-band lesbian romance. Race saw a fair amount of diversity represented. I'm obviously not the final judge on this, but the way in which each band includes the same basic selection of characters, version 1 and 2, did make things feel a bit tokenizing. That said, I assume this is at least partly a holdover from the previous show. Also, these sorts of girl bands do appear to have types, generally speaking. Class was definitely the weakest point for me. Not that I feel like it probably could have been introduced well, but reading stories about people who have no concern for money and have amazing technology at their fingertips just raises my boredom level automatically, at least a little bit. I might have missed something, but it didn't seem like ability versus disability was really touched on at all either. Overall, I decided to lower my Volume 1 rating from 4 to 3 out of 5 stars. The somewhat erratic nature of Volume 2, reading like a bunch of single issues, rendered it a 2 out of 5 stars for me, and I stuck with my initial rating of 3 out of 5 stars for Volume 3. It was certainly not a new favorite for me, but it does what it aimed to do very successfully. Maybe I'm being a bit too diplomatic, but just thinking about the kinds of comics I generally rate 1 or 2 stars, they are so much worse and or offensive. That said, I deliberately stopped reading because Sophie Campbell apparently didn't do the art for volumes 4 or 5. I did also want to note that this was probably a bit of a stretch for a mainstream review per se, as I'm pretty sure JEM has once again disappeared from the river of culture as quickly as she returned, probably thanks to the generally panned movie, but since the license holder is Hasbro, it certainly didn't fit into my schedule for more indie titles. Bye y'all, keep reading and resist white supremacy. And as always, Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.